Hey everyone, we're going to get to the video explaining what CANZUK is in just a minute. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK. But first, here's some videos showing you the Commonwealth of Nations glory days during the World War II. The British Empire's last great stand, its last final act, defeating Nazism, and how Canada, Britain, Australia, and New Zealand remained united. Here we go, let's go see that.
Facing the threat of war with Germany, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth visit their dominion Canada to rally support for Britain. Thousands of subjects pay tribute to their imperial king and queen. In Calgary, Canadian Prime Minister William Mackenzie King.
The Indian chiefs were, for the most part, fine-looking men, and in their full costume very colourful. I had a first-rate talk with the Queen. She spoke about their courtesy and graceful bearing, and their erect ways. She remarked they were very like the Scotch in some respects.
It was believed that the king would very soon travel to India to receive the imperial crown. That their majesties have visited Canada instead is a sign that London is trying to establish the political security of the mother country by coordinating the Anglo-Saxon element in Canada and the USA.
Canada's loyalty to the crown is secured. For the second time in 25 years, Britain and her empire will unite to fight a world war.
Prime Minister of Australia, Right Honourable R.G. Menzies.
Fellow Australians, it is my melancholy duty to inform you officially that in consequence of a persistence by Germany in her invasion of Poland, Great Britain has declared war upon her, and that as a result, Australia is also at war.
Troops from all over the British Empire mobilize for the Second World War. Almost 1 million men from Australia and New Zealand, over 700,000 from Canada, 600,000 from Africa, and 2.5 million from India. The dominions and colonies remain loyal.
Okay, so I already explained what the CANZUK abbreviation means. Now, first off, I want to explain my American accent. See, my grandmother is from Northern Ireland. Her family is from Londonderry. My grandfather is half English. His mother was from England. So I actually have British birthright citizenship if I choose to claim it. The reason why I haven't yet is it costs £1,600 to claim it. And I didn't have that money as a kid, and I'm just turned 20, and I only started finally making serious money now. I was in college, now I'm taking a break so I can afford to go to Europe. Long story short, that's my connections to the UK and to Greater British world. Now back to CANZUK. Okay, so as you already know the abbreviation, but what it really means is there's an organization and there's a whole movement in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Great Britain. You know, the old dominions of the British Empire. The Greater British world, the Anglosphere. There's the movement calls for a free trade area, a free movement area, and a trade and an economic union of these countries. We believe that this union will be beneficial because together we have a GDP of over $6 trillion, which would make us larger than Germany and Japan's economies combined. And would make us the third, if we were a country, which we don't want to be. Our goals are not to completely erase our national identities, simply seek a further cooperation of them. But if we were to unite, we would just be, for the sake of statistics, we would be the third largest economy in the world. And as a single trading coalition that makes deals as a group, we have a much larger weight in the world, being able to compete with places like China, which we're only a few $1 trillion behind, and the United States, allowing Britain and our individual countries to all have a seat at the world table again like we did 100 years ago. when the British Empire won World War One and before we fought World War Two. Furthermore, we think there's a moral justification for this kind of union, considering the fact that our individual peoples all came from the same islands, exclusion of the French Canadians and the Maori people and Aboriginals. We all came largely from the same islands. We all share a common history, fighting for Britain in many wars. We all share a common crown. We share a common language, most importantly. We all speak the same Commonwealth English. Even I use it in spelling and use British terms because I'm trying to largely assimilate into my ancestral culture. Also, I learned some of it from my grandparents, who largely raised me. Um, Furthermore, we already cooperate for the Commonwealth. We just think it makes logical sense. Australia and New Zealand already have a free trade agreement, and in Canada the motion is already popular. The Canadian Conservative Party endorsed almost universally at their last party convention in 2018. They universally made the CANZUK International Platform, the main organization that's pushing this, part of their agenda. So if the Conservatives win the next government, they will try to push the rest of our nations into CANZUK, and they will do their part. Justin Trudeau says he's looking forward to an individual free trade with the UK that includes free movement. So is Australia. So it's not a much greater step that all of us can have a free trade and free movement deal. I mean, we all speak English. We all have pretty much very similar cultures. It makes sense that we all stand united and work together for the betterment of all our peoples. There's a saying in a science fiction show I really like that we are stronger together than we could ever be alone. And while that's from a fictional show, I think that really applies here. I think that's a really strong saying. Individually, New Zealand only has a GDP of 400 billion US dollars, which makes it like about as large as Austria. Individually, Australia only has over $1 trillion in GDP, which makes it about as large as Spain. Individually, Canada has a similar GDP value, and Britain only has a GDP of 3 trillion, making it the fifth largest economy in the world. Altogether, we are the third. If we all negotiate together, we get better trade deals, and we have a stronger voice in world affairs. We will be someone people will court as a major player on the world stage and who can in turn influence other nations. Again, much more effectively than we're doing so now. And like I said, it just makes sense. Not only do the Canadians support it, like I said, the Australian leadership, the Australian government is supportive of a similar proposal, and we have over 275,000 signatures on our 4 countries. We've had several television interviews. We have several organizations on social media and in person promoting the ideas, and we would like you to visit our website. I'm going to drop the link down below. By the way, I'm not a representative of CANZUK. I just am one of their staunchest supporters. I donate to them every month. I figured I'd make a video explaining why we should do it. If you want to see your individual country have a major say in the world again, you want to see your country have a free trade agreement with fellow English-speaking people that you share a crown and history with, support CANZUK. It just makes common sense, and it's the right thing to do for all of us. Yes, like I said, we are stronger together than we could ever be alone.